Welcome to Friday Evening Podcast. I'm Jack Powers. What's your name?
Adjacent.
I don't know. What's your name?
Drew.
What's your last name?
Smith.
That's a made up name. Your name is the most made up of our friends' names, I'd say.
It's the most boring.
It's the most boring. Andrew
Henry Smith.
Henry Smith.
It does sound like
an
alibi kind of name, or
it sounds like you had to make up a person's name.
Yeah, I'm actually from Bolivia initially, but I had to leave the country.
That's a fake ID name. It's Drew Smith. I'd like to think mine's a bit more individual. So
you know the way I think about it.
What's that?
If the name's boring, you gotta make it interesting. So that's why you gotta do stuff.
True. That's true. You have to compensate for a boring.
Yeah, because if they read the name, they go Drew Smith. They're gonna be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. If your name's Xenon and you're a boring person,
well then you're not doing justice to Xenon.
You're not doing justice.
But if you're interesting with a name like Drew Smith, then you're going above and beyond.
That's true. You're above that.
I'm no longer a wheat farmer. Suddenly I'm a whatever.
I'm no longer a 1920s paper boy. I'm a fucking a fake name on a fake ID. It's Monday afternoon, so it's the Monday.
This is the earliest we've also ever recorded one.
It's the daytime.
It's the Monday afternoon.
It's the Monday afternoon podcast. It's the day. How many? I want to know how many of these podcasts so far. This is episode 9, right? How many of the 9 we've recorded on Friday evening? Not even Friday night. I mean Friday evening. In the evening. That was our first one.
First one, I think.
I'm pretty sure. Because that's why we decided to call it the Friday Evening
and also it sounds the best. I think the Friday Evening Podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually either the late show or the Wednesday edition or the Sunday edition.
True. And we're back. we had a little friendo visit us.
Intruder.
An intruder. That's true. We actually killed him. So rest in peace to Turner. Regardless,
he wasn't loved, nor will he be missed.
Well,
you know what?
We have an intro now, Drew. We have a little intro guy.
Hopefully. We don't even know what it looks like at this point.
We haven't recorded it yet.
But
what do you imagine our intro looks like, Drew?
I'm imagining our intro having. So we've already talked about having an on-air light.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna open with that.
Right.
And then you're gonna get some real suave music.
That's true. You're going to get some sexy, smooth, some upbeat tempo. It's whatever music we want to have, really.
Both.
All the above.
It's actually a 5-minute intro.
It's just, oh my god.
And
y'all will want to watch that every single time, right?
I mean, we change it a little bit every time. Like, it's like The Simpsons.
Oh,
it opens up with another little fun bit, and
that sounds miserable.
But I'm not very good at animating, so we probably will. We should have an animated intro. That's what it's gonna be. We're gonna have animation. It's gonna be really poorly drawn.
Worst idea. We could just draw it on the whiteboard and just take different stills.
Just do stop.
Yeah. Stop motion would be really funny. That'd be really funny.
I mean, if we could do it well, it could be okay.
I'm trying to think of what else we want in our intro. Naked models with Friday Evening Podcast.
Yeah, so how many letters is Friday Evening Podcast?
That's a great question.
Well, one girl for every letter.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot.
So at a football game when they spell it out.
When they paint out, yeah.
Or actually, we'll just put one on each boob.
We could cut the women in half and say, okay, one on each breast. That's a good idea. That's wise.
We shouldn't cut the women.
Cut the number of women. Cut the number of women.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of cutting women.
All right, Buffalo Bill, and I think we should have a light show.
A light show?
Pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics. We can make this light behind me strobe, actually. I don't know if it'll work or not. But the lights have dimmers, and instead of just dimmers, it's just either on, strobing, or off. which I like to consider that's my 3 modes: on, strobing, or off.
What's strobing, Jack?
I don't know. It's good. Having a stroke.
Tourette's.
Having a stroke is what I'm saying. But yeah, there are no you can't dim the lights here. You can only have them on.
They don't have acid here
or off. That's true.
So not a very romantic location.
Not really. It's not good lighting. It's very harsh.
I don't know.
It's very difficult.
I feel like you could bring a girl on a date to a podcast.
To a podcast?
Yeah.
That would be. How would
you take a girl on a podcast date?
I don't talk to women, so I don't know.
I would assume it would just kind of be like a recorded date, right? You just kind of talk.
Wait, no. So one of us would bring a girl to you and I talking.
I was assuming that was just you and the girl talking. You had
Oh,
a date.
no.
Like,
I mean, what if we brought a girl on a date to a podcast recording session?
And you said, let's bring this up a level, baby.
What's that? No,
Let's put a mic in here.
I don't like this at all. And then it follows y'all home while still recording, and then
that's when you get the live action segment.
It's freaky, Jesus Christ. Why does everything devolve to porn?
I mean, it's always on our mind.
The bad people, the average brain thinks about sex once every 7 seconds.
Hopefully, we can keep talking about porn.
While
we.
It's
been a while since
we haven't.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how many topics do we still have to cover? How many topics have we? So this is episode 9. This is the 9th time we've spun the wheel, right? We haven't spun the wheel twice.
There are 36 sectors.
36 sectors.
Yes.
So we're about almost a quarter of the way through our topics. So get ready, y'all. Episode 36, we're done.
I think that'd be a fitting way to end it.
That would be a fitting way. We've exhausted all the topics, and now we're done forever. Yeah, hopefully that'll take a summer. Hopefully that'll
okay, here we go.
That was what?
Here, whoop.
Spin the wheel and spin.
Well, we got a question mark.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Oh, wait.
So wait, how many things do I could have sworn that we had more than 36 topics. What's going on, Drew? Oh my God.
We called it.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
So what's your favorite category of porn,
okay,
Jack?
ladies and gentlemen, the topic at hand is porn. How did we discuss?
We didn't plan that. That was not
a random wheel spinning.
God wanted us to talk about debauchery on this episode.
Talk about porn. I don't know. I think VR porn has
real potential.
Real
potential.
Real potential. Aren't the Japanese ahead of that? Like they have like an actual like sex toy hooked up to a VR system.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's a prototype or if it's actually real. But basically it's like
people are working on it in a lab.
It's like a box, right?
Oh, gross.
And so you stick your willy in.
No, it's not.
And so then like you put on the VR, and then so
it's a little.
There's
like a little anime girl.
So you can do that.
You can do an anime girl. You can't do a real.
I think there's also a sister device.
With the willy
that can go into a partner, and so you can like it's remote, so you could have like just be banging without being next to each other.
This is not right.
It's amazing.
Cross country banging.
Yeah.
No, that would be interesting for people with like UTIs or STIs or whatever the fuck they're called.
That's the
future.
It's the perfect role play device.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
they could be anything. You could be fucking a dragon.
You could be anybody.
You could be fucking a dragon. Let's fuck a dragon.
That's
okay.
Or you could be a dragon.
You could be a dragon. You could just look
it's
like
amazing.
A dragon to a person. That is really.
If we do that, if we achieve,
you and I.
No. But like I'm saying, if humanity as a whole achieves a state where they can interact without interacting, then there is no point to ever leaving your home.
True. You can like. I remember somebody discussing like the point of so. Comedians in cars getting coffee, the Jerry Seinfeld series where he has a bunch of different funny people on. What's his name? Noah. Who's the new Daily Show? Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah was on, and he makes a good point. As protesting used to mean you get out of your bed and you march and you like stand for something that you like. Nowadays, on Twitter, you can protest, quote unquote, without leaving your house and getting out of your underwear, which is very interesting to me. So it's funny how just interacting without actually doing anything.
Well, the porn industry is ahead in a lot of places.
Doesn't Pornhub do a lot of charity shit too?
They have a lot of charity.
Sure they have a lot of philanthropy stuff.
I know for like Arbor Day, they did a whole lot like watch a porn, plant a tree, or something like that. Yeah. And then and I think it's like the thing we were just talking about with like dick. Like, should we probably be focusing on like having remote hands? So that you could excavate a site or something like that. I mean, I'm not talking about for sex. But I'm talking about like you could use that same idea to like perform surgery without actually being there or something like that.
Well, what if the robots fuck up?
No, but like you are controlling the robots like from far away.
What if the robots have a malfunction even while you're controlling?
Well, then make them better. But like a fire, a really bad fire. You send in a robot that you were controlling with your own hands, and you can like. I don't know. That's just kind of cool. But
I mean, imagine a surgery, and the surgeon goes, "Okay, I'm going to be controlling a robot that's doing the actual surgery. I would.
And it's like
easy,
exactly. Just punctures the lung.
Exactly. It's like fucking Surgeon Simulator.
Probably not surgery, because that probably needs a real. I wouldn't trust a big metallic hunk to come at me.
Big metallic hunk.
Yeah, not.
The doctor.
Another thing, like the porn industry is really in, like it's kind of been pioneers in, is like data protection.
What do you mean?
Like they have stopped pirating better than like Universal or anything like that.
True. That
because
true.
like
a lot of torrent side stuff.
Yeah, because
they always take it down.
Yeah, because free porn is ruining the porn industry.
It absolutely is.
But like they've gone out of their way to
Have you ever paid for porn?
No.
Okay, good. I haven't either. I would have.
There are ways there are ways that you can like do it like anonymously, like.
Oh no.
Like
you can
a lot of them accept gift cards.
Oh, that's.
But like from a Starbucks or something.
Oh.
Like you have a Starbucks gift card, they say like, oh, I'll put it in. It's like, oh,
no.
This is 10 days of whatever.
Oh my god.
So
really
you don't have to put in any information or anything like that, and they just give you a really bullshit username and stuff.
Oh, that's really fun.
But
yeah.
It's like a pawn shop.
What do you think the kind of people are that comment on porn videos?
Really comfortable and being
weird.
Pathetic.
Pathetic's a better word for it, not weird.
Or really sure that they're anonymous.
I guess, yeah. I've never once considered commenting on a porn. What do you even say in that? Like, I love your eyes. Like, no, you can't just say that to a gaping.
Well, have you ever read the comments? It's always like, God, I want to cream pie her,
or
like that kind of shit.
That is true. So I guess it's just like.
It's weird.
Do they think that other guys want to?
Okay, when you watch porn,
yeah.
So you watch it, and because you're horny or whatever, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So then you do it to the point of completion. But then after you complete,
right.
That's a weird way to say it. But after you complete, you don't keep watching, right? You're just kind of like, okay, I got to get out of here now. Like no evidence, click out, make sure I was on private window, that kind of stuff.
I feel ashamed, yeah.
So the people who comment didn't just complete; they stopped and they took the time to be like, I want to let Mrs. Sapphire know that she has quite the lovely tatas.
I said a real porn star name. You just said Sapphire.
I mean, I didn't want to call out anybody in particular.
Pokemon. Oh shit! I was in a Target. So okay, I'm having this stunning realization that as a kid, like you go to Toys R Us, you go to Target, you go to all these different places, and you look at all the video games, you look at all the toys, you look at all the Pokemon cards, and you're like, I want to get all of this. Like when I get older, I'm gonna buy all this stuff. I'm gonna have so many Pokemon cards. I'm gonna have so many video games. And I realized walking into a Target last night, I was like, I could spend all my money.
I could get all the things I wanted
to, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very interesting. It's very interesting to me. I mean, I have no interest in like the new ones.
I still do the same thing with video games. Probably, like I walk in and I go like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll still go to GameStop just to look at games, but I'm like, I don't need.
I always feel bad. You know, it's just window shopping because.
Yeah.
Okay, GameStops now because of online shopping have become kind of irrelevant.
I mean, yeah.
And so, like every time you go in there, the employees are so bored.
That's true.
They come up, they're like, "Can I help you? Any recommendations you want?" Or
well, because I think GameStop mostly subsists off of confused parents. I think it's consumer based. That's a good way to put it. Mostly parents asking, which Xbox is this for? Like it's them just not knowing anything, the nerds having to. I remember like when I think I was 17. Yeah, I was 17. I was about to turn 8. No, pardon me. I was 16. I was about to turn 17. In M-rated games, you can only play if you are 17 and up. I walked into a GameStop. I wanted to purchase I think
it was Call of Duty.
I think I was trying to purchase.
I think a Halo, right?
Maybe yeah. I was trying to buy like Halo 3 and Call of Duty Black Ops because like they were two classic games that I never really played because I wasn't really permitted to play those.
Classic is arguable.
Classic. What? Halo 3 is one of the best multiplayer games ever to be made.
It doesn't hold up as well as it could.
Really?
But it's still a good game.
Okay, fine. And then Black Ops, its story is just very cool. When it came out, its story was really good. And the gameplay has not changed since. Yeah, not really. No,
Call of Duty 2.
I tried to buy them, and the guy was like, "Okay, can you show me some ID?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, like, oh."
I'm not on Steam. I can't say I was born in 1990 anymore.
I told him like, "Oh, I turned. I think I was like gonna turn 17 in like a week or a couple weeks." And he was like, "Nah, I'm sorry, I can't sell these to you." And I'm like, what the fuck?
They can get in trouble for
that. Exactly. So that's fair. I mean, he's just doing his job, but like, GameStop as a whole, I realized I could purchase both of those games very easily on Steam,
And probably on sale.
and I was just like, thank God, things like Steam are putting those places out of sale. Not really. But
I mean,
out of business rather, but not really because that's just them doing their job.
I'm kind of old-fashioned in the sense that when I get a game,
You're racist? When you get a game?
When I get a game, I always like to, have a physical copy of it.
That's fair.
I always like having a disc or a cartridge or whatever.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because like getting like a Steam code or something like that.
It's
I'm always just kind of like, okay, I have it.
It's like
okay, it has to download now.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. It is great because you can just get the game and put it in and instantly start playing.
Mm-hmm.
Except Xbox and PlayStation fucked that up
yeah.
because now you put it in and you have to download
That's
it.
true.
But I don't know. It's just when you like open up a drawer and you see all your games, like you see your collection,
I agree.
and you're like, look at me, and then you go online, you can scroll through, and look at all
to
the.
a somewhat similar point, I hear that you're inclined to spend less money if you use cash more frequently. If that makes sense. Because you are seeing the money leaving your hand. That's why you buy so many Steam games, is because you never see any money being transacted.
And then you go, oh, I'm $1,000 in debt, but goddamn, do I love.
And it's $1. God, actually, I'm now thinking about it. Now that I have money again, and it's the summer, I should probably buy more Steam games, shouldn't I?
Speaking of video games, I recently got a new video game system.
Oh shit! Nintendo Switch. How is that? So it's $300.
It's $300.
Actually, it was sold out at Target.
It's sold out. Okay, so I'll start off with this. I had to go on a little escapade
to
get my Switch.
I forgot about this.
So we are in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And every place within a 50-mile radius didn't have it.
Holy
something like that. So I had to drive to
redneck ass
Hiram, Georgia. And
let's see how far away is that? How do you spell it?
It's like an hour away, I think.
Away. That's fine.
But it was quite the little adventure. I listened to an album up there, then all of a sudden it started pouring down rain, and I couldn't see in front of myself. And then it stopped raining, and then I realized I was in the middle of Mexicanville. And then I kept going, and then it was really scary, and there was farmland. And then I kept going, and then all of a sudden I was in like a little town.
Right. Okay.
And then I went
civilization.
Yeah. And then I went into the Best Buy, and then so I went to the Nintendo Switch section, and they didn't have it out. I was like, oh no, because I had to check online.
Yeah.
And it said it was only available in 2 places. Right. And then one of the places I called, and they said, oh yeah, we don't have that. We just haven't updated our website yet. So I had to go to the Hiram, and I went there, and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, do you have any Switches left? And he goes, oh, dude, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go. And so he went back into storage, and he said, do you want the colored one or the gray one? Ooh. And I said, I want the colored one. And he said, okay, I'll go check. So he goes in, 5 minutes pass, he comes back out, and he goes, dude, I'm so sorry. We don't have the colored ones. And then I was like, do you have the gray ones? Oh yeah, we got one of those. It's like, I don't care, just give me that, please.
I need my fix.
But so I did it, and I did pay with cash, and so it was kind of like, okay,
yeah,
this is $300 on the table.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I recently bought new running shoes that were $120.
Some nice ass shoes.
There's some nice ass shoes, and I knew I would use them because I'm a runner. But like seeing all that money just be handed back away and never again, and it made me feel pretty bad. Mm-hmm. It's like, and then the tax only goes up the more you spend, so it was more than.
That's something you always forget about too.
Terrible.
I brought like $15 extra because I had in my wallet, and I used all of those $15 with the tax.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
And then I drove back and I almost died.
We shouldn't have money. What do you think we should have?
We should go back to a bartering system.
A bartering system?
Yeah.
Like trade?
Yeah.
Like I'll trade you like 5 hand jobs for like a car.
Services, objects, yeah. Like no, but like honestly, like if you get I got a new laptop.
Right.
And so this will become outdated in a year or 2, right?
That's fair.
I think you should be able to take your old laptop, say, here, get this as credit, and then also I'll throw in 2 Pokemon cards.
Okay.
And then they'll go like, shit, are those Dialga DX? And they'll go like, yeah. And then look, they'll actually give you money.
They'll be like, oh my God, take all you want.
I mean, and I know you can do that, but like, we already spoke about GameStop. GameStop is the worst about trading.
The absolute worst, yeah.
You can get a new game. They will give you less than half.
Yeah. It's really
So
store
the,
credit.
yeah,
Store credit.
yeah, and even less than that if you want actual cash. Like,
So
here's a
funny.
new game.
Yeah.
Like, give you $15 for it,
That's-
or like maybe 30 in store, and you go, I never want to come back here
Yeah.
after this.
Not at all. It's really GameStop. How did GameStop come to be? The gaming
Video
boom of-
games became big,
Yeah,
and then
that's
somebody
true.
said, I want all of those, and
That's
then
true.
they sold them.
And they sold it. That's how it works.
That's, I mean, it's not
By God,
really
you're
that
right.
interesting of a story, I don't think.
That's true. It's so interesting how some of the good old games are still a lot like Gen 4 Pokemon games, like they still sell at GameStop and they're still like $30.
Really?
Yeah. They still have a little like shelf of tiny
So,
PS cartridges, not the whole game. Just
there's-
the cartridges.
So there's like a curve to that, I feel like. So like the
Yeah.
game comes out $60, right?
Yeah.
And then like it gets old, and then the new one comes out and it becomes like 20, I'd say.
Yeah.
Then after a certain amount of time, like if it's a game that holds up over time,
Call it
like
Animal Crossing
like
Wild
like Super
World,
Smash Bros.
Melee.
That's a game that probably stayed at 60 or wherever,
Melee, you can just
and now
get
it's like
$20.
$100 or
That's true.
way
It
more
is.
than that.
It is for a real copy of Melee. I remember I actually bought one and then swiftly downloaded the 20XX training pack, which is basically an emulator that you can run on a Wii. So it's just Melee but better and for free.
How much
And-
money did you spend on that Melee?
Oh, call it $40, $50.
That's
probably.
not too bad.
Not even that bad. I could have spent like $100-something
Yeah.
for like a case and a game and everything. So funny. Everything's dumb. Oh man, Melee has net play.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, I keep getting my ass kicked on it.
Smash is one of those games you play it, and when you do something
you'll
cool,
never be good enough at
you,
it.
you feel like you're the best,
Yeah.
and then
You just get your
it's
shit wrecked.
honestly, now that there is net play, that's a really humbling experience, I'm
is.
sure.
It really
Because
is.
you're probably one of the better of our friends,
Yeah, sadly.
and then you go out into the real world and you
You
realize
just get.
you punk ass bitch.
But I guess I'd like to think. I always think like also in running that is the same kind of component. Like there's always going to be somebody who is much worse than you, and there's always going to be someone who's way better than you. And so all you can hope for is just to continue to improve, I guess. Or you just grow depressed and kill yourself.
It's also good.
That's also good. Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, Melee's impossible to play perfectly.
Yeah.
Melee is jazz. That's a good quote from I can't remember who said it, but it was Prague, who's a Melee commentator. But no one gives a shit about Smash because it's nerdy. It's for the nerds.
Yeah,
It's for the nerds.
nerd culture, whatever.
Speaking of, so Rule 34.
Okay,
Rule
bring it back to the porn. I
Bring
like
back
it.
to the porn. I wonder. I don't know. Is there anything there isn't Rule 34 of? Like, what's one franchise?
Rule 30. The
Schoolhouse
rule
Rock
34
rule,
is if it exists, there's porn
Exactly,
of it.
but like, is there anything that doesn't succumb to that rule? Is there anything? I wager Schoolhouse Rock personally.
I feel like there'd be that's popular enough.
Oh fuck, that's true.
It's the only things that there won't be porn of would be things that don't have a big enough fan base of it,
That's true.
like this podcast.
This podcast.
But no, just like small things. I mean, probably not of bands.
A lot of bands. Well, do they make Rule 34 of bands?
Okay, so
Do they like Photoshop their head onto some game?
there are sites that do
Oh,
that
I'm
with
sure there
famous people,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and they're not that great.
like Ariana Grande.
Hermione
And it's just like
Granger.
a porn shoot, and then
There
they
you
just
go. And they just
Photoshop her face on there.
But
but-
I wonder.
But I feel like I don't know. There's some things you just don't want porn of, like
It's true. Like,
9 Inch Nails.
Like-
You don't necessarily want to see them all banging each other.
what about like the Queen Elizabeth? Like,
There's totally porn of that.
That's the problem.
Some people,
There's some sick fucks out there.
it's either got to be so boring that nobody wants to spend the time on it,
That's true.
or it's just got to be so
like fucking
obscure.
like Woody Woodpecker porn.
There's totally Woody
There's
Woodpecker.
totally. Let's just-
Cartoons are easy
That's true.
to
They are.
draw
They
or
are.
easy to somewhat replicate, and so if you're a fan of it as a kid, you might be like, I'm bored, fuck it.
That's why there's so much Sonic porn.
Well, okay, so
I think there's more Sonic porn than any other franchise, I would wager. Just weird furry shit.
I don't know if more than any.
Right.
I feel like there could be like there might be an anime in Japan that would probably have the most, but like Sonic arguably has the perfect design for it.
For furry shit.
For furry shit, or even just for a cartoon.
God.
He looks. He's a great design. There's nothing wrong with him, and he's really iconic. He's easy to recognize.
Oh god.
His games aren't great,
Savage.
but the reason he's endured for so long is because he's such a memorable and impressionable character.
Oh god.
And then he's got a whole cast of people
of other fucking furries.
Yeah, that he can bang or can be banged by.
Yeah, aren't him and Amy Rose a thing? I haven't been caught up in my lore in a while. Do they have one continuous storyline? I don't think that they do. They have animes and shit. They have cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, and I think the only reason she was made was to give a romantic interest in Sonic.
Well, it's very interesting. Sonic was created. He was just a marketing mascot. He wasn't,
Yeah.
So Shigeru Miyamoto, when he created Mario, was not attempting to be marketable. He wasn't attempting to appeal to children. He wasn't. I mean, he just wanted to make a star for his game, and he didn't really consider it a marketing perspective. Sonic was like pushed through several focus groups, and research was done. And then, speaking of women, Drew, we saw a certain woman,
very super woman.
What's like one word you would describe her as, starting with a W?
Weird.
I was thinking more like whimsical or Wonder Woman.
Oh wow!
We saw
Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Drew, talk to me about Wonder Woman.
We'll do more than talk to you. And now we were back into the ether with no face, nothing.
I actually like it better. Yeah, y'all can't see me, nor my nudity. So that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, we actually derobed after all of this.
Yeah, it was just the lights were making it hot. Lights were.
Well, speaking of hot.
Wow, what segue could this be, Drew?
I don't know. I don't have a segue, but anyways, so we talked about earlier briefly the Switch, right?
Yes.
And, we didn't talk about
the Switch.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily talk about the Switch itself.
So previously on, I got it, went to Hiram, whatever, came back, and so last night actually, I beat The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Whoa! How did that go, Drew?
So have you seen any gameplay?
No, I've watched you play it. Other than that, no.
Okay, well, it's the least Zelda that exists so far, I think. Because it's very much, it's a very modern Zelda kind of thing.
That's cool. Well, they're trying to kind of change up Zelda.
They were, and I think they probably made it the longest Zelda game because now there's side quests and there's just so much you can do. And
good or bad necessarily.
I'm okay with it because the gameplay is good enough to the point that you want to keep playing with it.
Despite everything breaking, right?
Yeah. Okay. So most like media outlets have given like 10 out of 10s. It has I think a 97 on Metacritic or something like that.
Why the fuck?
But after playing it and having beaten it, I don't think it's a 10.
Really?
I think it's a 9.5 to like 9.8 probably. But it's not a perfect game. It's because. So one of the biggest issues is, like he's been saying, the durability of weapons. So every weapon in the game can break, even the Master Sword.
No way. Master Sword can
break? Doesn't, so it breaks. Right. It doesn't break, it runs out of power. Which means you use it, and then you can't use it until it recharges again. Yeah. So I didn't like that very much. And then also the music in the game.
Mm-hmm. Is not?
In Zelda games, the music that I know is super orchestral. and super like it really gets you going with the game and fits the atmosphere.
Nice.
The music is good most of the time, but it's way more understated. It's like a lot of piano.
Really?
Which doesn't really Zelda.
I was about to say, does that contribute or take away from the experience necessarily?
Some of
the bright side, it lets you focus more on the gameplay and the visuals and whatnot.
But music isn't supposed to take the place of that. It's not supposed to take the spotlight. It's supposed to accompany it. It's supposed to supplement it. So that was something I had a mixed bag on. Some of it is really good, but most of it's just kind of like, whatever.
That's a shame. Nothing like too memorable.
Yeah, I can't name a theme. Like I listened to the credits. After I finished the game, the credits play, and it plays the song for each place,
really?
and I could recognize them, but I can't sing them to you right now.
Oh, that's funny, and you couldn't really. Okay.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
And another thing, it's not really hard.
Really.
Which is the difficulty comes in that enemies can basically one-shot you. Or that they take a really long time to be killed.
Okay.
But the combat itself isn't really difficult.
So almost Dark Souls-esque.
No, it's the opposite of Dark Souls.
Really?
So
I thought enemies could one. Okay,
well, they can, but it's fair.
Right.
In this game, you can just you get basically every enemy you kill the same way. You just wail on them. And Dark Souls, it's very much okay. So this is the biggest problem. I was thinking about this last night. Dark Souls has good combat because you have to juggle so many things to be able to win the game.
Right.
You have a limited number of health items.
Right.
You have a stamina for like attacks and for moving.
Okay.
And then you also have to like be able to move and be able to choose like the timing of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Zelda gets rid of both the stamina and the health thing.
Oh, okay.
And so all you have is moving around and knowing the timing of when to fight.
Just kind of boring almost.
So, but how they try and like level it out is by giving enemies that can hit like a truck, right?
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
But then you can upgrade your armor and it doesn't matter. Or you like you can cook in the game.
Ooh.
And so you can take food of anything and you can make it together and make and like if you get a truffle, you make something and that gives you full recovery.
It's like Minecraft.
But like what that means is that if you're fighting a guy who's really tough and you've been like at him for like 5 minutes and you're down to like 1 heart left.
Right.
It doesn't and like in Dark Souls it's like you've been using Estus flasks the right way and you're worried about how much health you'll have left. I was never worried.
Oh damn.
Because like I always know like, oh well, I'll just eat this food and it'll give me full health and bonus health.
Oh Jesus Christ.
So it's not hard.
That's funny.
The difficulty
maybe because it's a Nintendo game and traditionally children will play it.
That is what I think they were going for. They wanted to make it accessible.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you want to make more money than you want to make it like a game like that.
Right.
But then it's just the difficulty was kind of bullshit, and then so you can upgrade. You can get a heart container, to get more health, or you can get a stamina container, which upgrades your stamina, which is how much you can run for or climb. But that stamina plays no factor in combat.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You can't charge up attacks. Right?
So you can charge up attacks, but that's the only thing. But other than that, it's not like every swing you do, you lose a little bit of stamina, which is how Dark Souls is.
Oh really? Okay.
So that, and also the bosses are cool.
Yeah.
But because of the way the game is, they're not hard. I never died to a boss in the game.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How many significant bosses are there? I mean, are there a lot of bosses?
If you're just doing the main story bosses, there are 5 bosses in the game.
Oh.
Which is
they weren't that hard.
And the way the game is structured, it's very open-ended. There's not really dungeons in the game.
Yeah.
There are, I will say there are 4 dungeons.
Right.
And the 4 dungeons are really well designed and stuff, and they all have a gimmick. But outside of that, Zelda has usually way more than that.
Yeah.
And
more difficult.
Yeah, and more difficult than that. But the dungeons that are made are really cool because you're inside like a robot basically. Mm-hmm. And when you get access to the robot, like one of them's an elephant, you can control the elephant's trunk.
Ooh,
and so it makes it a dynamic
it's just so creative.
kind of dungeon.
I don't know how Nintendo keeps on thinking up. They think of some of the most creative game elements, in my opinion.
No, yeah, and I'm not
so strange.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is a bad game. I'm just saying it's just very different.
Yeah.
And then and also the most disappointing thing though was Calamity Ganon, the final boss of the game, was not hard.
Really?
So what happened? So what happens the whole reason you're getting these divine beasts is that they help you, and they're gonna shoot Calamity Ganon and help you out.
Right.
So if you get every divine beast, you fight Calamity Ganon when he has half health.
Oh wow.
And then from there, you fight him, and he's basically the same as every other boss you fought in the game.
It's such a shame.
But then he goes into phase 2.
Ooh.
In phase 2, he's like
it's like a JRPG.
He's the Ganon. He's a giant pig monster out.
So he's Ganon.
Yeah, and you run around on a horse around him,
Good.
and so you get the bow of light, like from Zelda.
Right.
And what you have to do,
it's like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, so you have to run around and shoot specific spots on him.
Okay.
To kill him.
Weak spots. That's fine.
But
It's forgivable.
Ganon never hit me once.
Really?
He has one attack.
Never?
He walks around, and then occasionally he shoots a laser beam that only shoots right in front of him.
Jesus Christ.
And when you're on a horse, and all the weak spots are behind him, you have no reason to go in front of him.
And so you'll just never get
And you never got hit.
That's such a shame.
And like in the moment, like the music was really cool.
Like they ran out of, I don't know, innovation. Ugh, that bothers me.
It's
That's kind of rough.
I just think the way the game is made, it never feels like there's really any tension in the game, or like there's never any stakes, anything. And also because Dark Souls, when you die at a boss, right, you go back to the bonfire and you have to do the whole run up again, and then you get to the boss.
Except when you die.
Except when you die in Zelda, you can save whenever you want to.
Oh god. Dude.
And you can and you just go back to it, and you come back to life, and you just fight the boss over and over again if you wanted to.
Ew.
And I was just like, okay.
So they got, in summation, they got some things right.
I've only talked about the bad things.
More things right.
But everything else in the game I think is great.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, okay, there is voice acting in the game too,
Really?
which is weird for a Zelda game.
Not for Link, right?
Link is the only person they don't voice act.
Good.
But the way they have to structure it story-wise makes him seem like a loner who's afraid to talk, and it's really kind of weird. Like people will address him directly, and he'll just go, or like won't do anything.
Me when I'm talking to people.
But the voice acting is, some of it's good, most of it's kind of awkward.
Ooh.
But I think it adds to the charm of the game, I guess. It could be your argument. Yeah.
They had to go through recording. That's okay.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful game. The shrines are all super fun. The story is pretty interesting for the most part. And the combat is fun most of the time.
Right.
But yeah, it felt kind of, it either felt way too like they either put you against enemies that were way overclassed for you or way too easy for you.
Dang.
So
That's rough that they couldn't get the difficulty correct.
Yeah.
Or at least, they couldn't match tension with success and, grinding through it.
Yeah, but the map is ginormous and huge, and everything is interesting, basically.
Yeah.
They bring a lot of old...
You can go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So you can do anything you want.
They bring Zelda and they bring old Zelda things into the game to make it feel like it's still a Zelda game.
Oh, that's good.
So that's Breath of the Wild. I'd give it 9.5. I think.
Good shit. Do you have any other Switch games?
Well, that's the biggest problem with the Switch right now. Yeah. As of the recording of this podcast on June the 12th, the Nintendo games you can buy are Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8.
Is that it?
That's it.
No way. Oh,
you can get other smaller games.
There's like a party.
Oh, and one two Switch. Switch.
That's a good one. I've seen gameplay.
Yeah, but that's not worth $40.
Not at all.
That's something you get on sale for maybe $20.
Right.
But there's just not enough games out yet. Like ARMS is coming out soon.
I saw a few at like Target or something like that.
Yeah. ARMS is coming out soon. Splatoon 2 comes out soon. Which looks pretty cool.
Squid. I never played the original.
And then Mario Odyssey's slated to release.
Yeah, I don't know what that one will be.
I'm gonna give it time.
Yeah, I agree.
I
thought it was very intriguing when I first saw it.
I don't think they'll fuck up the Nintendo property.
Oh God, no! That would.
But
what if they made a terrible Mario game? What if they made a Sonic 06 equivalent?
No, but I was gonna bring up Sonic 06 because there's real people walking around the town.
That's true.
And that's what Sonic 06 had.
Hopefully they'll do it right.
I think it'll be fine. But
me too.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Yeah, I want Nintendo to do well. I want it to do well so badly.
Poor Nintendo. The Wii U was really disappointing.
It was poorly marketed. It was a fun console.
Poorly marketed.
Nobody really knew about it,
and there wasn't really a reason to get it.
Nope. Not at all. But now they have a bunch of other companies invested in it, and they
Yeah,
have
there's actually
interest.
third-party developers. Like Skyrim is going to be on the Switch.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is like that's cool.
Isn't
Yeah,
that funny? Which I thought we already had with Zelda, but I guess I'm wrong.
it's first person now.
That's true. Right.
Yeah. So
what do we learn? Let's quick learned. Baby geniuses, bad.
ugly.
Wonder Woman, good.
Good. See it.
Switch, good.
Pretty good.
Porn, good.
Corn?
Porn.
Oh, porn.
Our top.
Great.
Our top.
Great. Yeah.
Microphones, good. Don't
We,
break
we,
microphone
we,
cords.
we've had a couple mishaps on this.
A couple mishaps.
This was an episode of first.
It's an episode of first. So we hope
first live action, first broken microphone,
Yeah.
first
We hope-
porn discussion.
we hope that you've enjoyed our firsts, and let us know if you'd like to see more firsts, or if you'd like us to never change ever,
Or never do anything again.
or we can just kill ourselves.